So we have covered list. Now we will start with our tuples. Okay. Now tuple is something which will be enclosed into my round brackets. Okay, and it will have a multiple values, same as my list. Okay, I can store any kind of values in my tuples also. If you want to store a list inside a tuple, that is also possible, but this is not advisable. Okay. Now, why this tuple data type came into existence? Okay, so my tuple, let's few things about it. My tuple is immutable, and this is order. Okay, so as this is immutable, once I define a tuple, I cannot change the values. Okay, so this provides me the right protection for my data type. Okay, so this mainly used whenever you are accepting the input from your user. You do not want that to be changed, right? So that should be kept intact. Or if you are passing some values to your functions, or if you are getting results back from your function, right? So that value should not allowed to tamper with. So in that case, you can use your tuple. Okay. Same thing. Tuples are ordered same as my list. It means it will have my. I'll have my indexing here and slicing. Okay. Immutable. That's why there are no methods to add, update, and delete. Okay. List is mutable. Okay. Now rest everything is exactly same as my list in my tuple. Okay. So how my indexing and slicing will work in the same way. So I'll specify tuple index as a 0, and it will give me the first element of my list. If I specify -1, this will give me the last element from my tuple. Now if I want first element till fifth element, I will use my slicing. My 5 will not be the included in this, right? So my 5 is not included. So it will give me from 1 to 2. So this is my indexing and my slicing. Okay. We have seen I can update my value of my list specifying the index. So if I try to do this in my list, it works, right? It allows me to change the value which is present at my second index, right? But if I do the same with my tuples, tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay.
So it's a constant array.
Exactly. So it's constant array we can see. So I'm not able to update it. So once I store it, it will be fixed. Okay. If you check the help of your tuple also, you will see that there are no methods.
So the difference between tuple and the list
is mainly that mutable and immutable. That's it. That's it. So if you see, I only have these two methods, that is count and index. And apart from this, I do not have any methods. The inbuilt method which we have seen, that is, if I say list, I have methods to add, update, that is append, extend. All these methods I have, right? I do not have any methods for this. The only two methods allows, that is my count and my index. Now, what is my count and index? If I say t dot count of 30, it will check number of occurrences of this 30 and it will return me the result. If I add a multiple 30 here, okay. No, this will return me 2. This will count number of 30. If I do index, it will give me 1. Okay. So this is my count, and the next I have is my index. So index will give me 0, 1, and 2. Second one. But it will only give me the first occurrence of it, right? Okay. So these are the only two functions, and indexing and slicing. So that's all I have.
That's all I have. I thought count would be giving the size of the tuple,
No, no,
or
no. So that will be my len function. Count will check if the particular count will check the number which you are passing to it, and it will return me the number of occurrences of that particular.
occurrences. Okay.
So length, just second. Okay. So this will give me the total length of my tuple. Okay. So conceptually, this much we have in a tuple. Even Python for storing my function, for writing my function, for passing values, my Python uses tuples. So when we move the function topics, we will see how my Python uses tuples while passing the variables. Okay. For now, we will move to the next data type. That is my dictionaries. So dictionary will be my key and a value pair, and it will be enclosed in a curly brackets. Okay. The way it will contain is, let's say, I'll say name. Okay. So I will have a key and a value pair. Okay. So for each key, there will be a value associated with it. Okay. Now, few concepts about my dictionary. First, my keys should be immutable. Okay. So the data type which I am using for the keys, it should be immutable, which means the allowed data types for my keys are string, integer, tuples. Okay. Now,
He cannot be integer. Value being integer.
now key can be integer. Let's say you are creating a dictionary. Let's say you are creating a dictionary. You have a key as a numbers from 1 to 10, and you want to store value as the square of it. Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right. So my keys should be immutable. Okay, which means it should be either of string, integer, or tuple. Keys as a list, not an. Okay, my values can be of any data type. Right, no restriction. Dictionaries are mutable. Okay, so keep in mind my keys should be immutable, but my entire dictionary is a mutable, which means I can add, modify, and delete the key and the value pair.
But this is okay. You can do a complete replacement of the key value.
I can change the individual also. The only restriction is if I'm using a name, if I'm using a string to define a key, right? That should be an immutable one. But I can change. So what I mean is I'm saying a name as one key and I'm storing ABC as value. Okay. I can add a new key into this dictionary once I define it. So my Python will allow me to add age attribute here. Okay. My Python will allow me to later in stage to change this age value to 50. Okay. But my Python only put a restriction that I cannot do something like that. Okay. So this type, this should be mutable data type.
But if you put just one,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We'll see this. Okay. Yeah. Now last thing, my element should be unique. Okay, so I cannot have a duplicate values inside my key and the value pair inside my dictionary. Okay, and my dictionaries are unordered.
Basically, it is the keys which has to be unique, right?
Exactly,
Not
exactly. Okay, and my dictionaries are unordered. Okay, let's see this one by one. For reference, all right. If I say print D, this will give me the key and the value pair of it, right? Now, if I want a value of this, as this is unordered data structure, I do not have indexing and slicing. Okay, so my Python uses hash tables to store dictionary internally. Okay, so there is no indexing and the slicing here. The only way to access the element using keys. Okay,
So you can keep on appending rather than
Mm, yeah, we can add it.
appending key values there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so if you want to access this ABC value, okay, the only if I say D of 0, that is not a valid operation. I do not have indexing and slicing. The only way is I need to specify the key. Okay, it should be exact. It should be exact. Okay,
It cannot be something like d.name.
no. This is not allowed. Okay, as you specifying the string, the key should be in a quote only. Okay,
If it's an integer, then you
integer as it is.
no, you have to specify the quote or
No, integer not required. Okay. Next thing, it should be unique as I said, right? What I'm saying, I'm doing, I'm adding the name again. Now I'm storing the value PQR here. We'll see my Python will only add the updated value, that is PQR, and this is not considered. Okay, so my keys should be unique. So for one key, it will store only one value. Okay, so this is example of my string dictionary, and my if you want a numeric dictionary, we can say something like this. Now if I want access of this second, so let's say D of 2, D1 of 2. And the dictionary name I change it to D1. Okay, I need to specify the key, right? Okay, no index, it's not an index. Yeah.
so it cannot have links, isn't it?
No.
I mean, if your key value is
I mean, inside as an element, list is all up.
no, your key should it has to have a multiple values.
Oh, okay, sorry.
If it is some key names, ABCD, PQR,
Uh-huh. So as a value, you can store a list.
so that's after ABCD.
Instead, if you want the multiple things, You can say ABC.
Either option.
Yeah. If you want something like this is possible. So here, when I say D of name, it will return me the no. It will return me the entire list.
Oh,
Wait a bracket.
Okay? So I'm adding this as a list. I'm adding multiple elements as this list. What happened?
it should be.
Oh, it should be. Okay.
No, it is.
What just happened?
No, there is multiple names. The latest one is.
Oh.
The same thing should be. Should be there.
Yeah. Okay. So I can add, update, and modify. Let's start with that. So now I'm making it as a single value. No. When I say something like this, this can be used to update the value for an existing key.
Key is immutable.
Key should be unique, absolutely. And this is immutable, right?
Okay.
I'm accessing value D of name. Okay. But if I specify something which does not exist, okay, so it will create it for me.
Would be great. Okay.
Okay. So the same thing works for my add as well as my update. Okay. But ultimately it should be unique. So okay. So this is the way I can create an key and set the value for that. It does not exist.
Value can be released also.
Yeah. Okay. Now this example which I said, that is if I have a key as a element and the value as its square. Can you guys try this? So I want a dictionary which will create a keys should be 1 to 10, let's say. Range is 1 to 10. So that should be my numbers. And for value, it should store the square of its number. Okay. We have seen how I can add an element, how I can update. Let's try this.
You have to just the dummy
Yeah, so
dummy thing is
initially it will blank. Once I did on the board.
since it is mutable.
So Amitesh, Kunal, if I use if I use for statement, right?
Uh-huh.
So basically, I need the values from 1 to 10. So is it something I can use like 1 dot 10, or like you do have to
Uh,
make use of length?
okay. So we have seen if I have to, let's say I have an empty dictionary, okay?
Empty text.
I have something like this, right? Now manually if I do D of 1, right? What it will consider this is as a key, right? And it will check if this exists or not. If it does not exist, it will create it for you and it will assign the value for you, right?
Yes.
So what I need is only the range.
Range. Yeah.
So I'm saying range from, let's say, 1 to 11, right? So this value will be the value my range will be giving. So I'm saying D of value equals to, so what I'm saying, so I get 1 to 10 here, right? Consider this as a key, and for that store the square of it. Just print D and I'm done.
D has to be defined, declared.
Yeah, yeah. So it's completely based on my values, right?
So
So
one question, Kunal. So
yeah,
there are
yeah.
so how do you I find what are the functions we have got similar to range uh, in the Python? So basically, we are for any string, right? String or list, we are using this dir, right?
Exactly, exactly.
So
So
how do I find?
So we do not have something which will tell you the which are similar functions, okay? But apart from this, I have a built-in functions, right?
Yeah,
So to
built-in
check
function.
built-in functions, I have to do help of underscore underscore built-ins, okay? So this will give you the entire library of built-in functions, or you can do print dir of built-ins.
Okay.
Okay, you can find your range function here. So you can see all the errors which we are getting are defined as one class. So this is available, right? So these are all the exceptions I'm getting, and these are my functions. So sum is inbuilt function for me, everything.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's- Yeah.
Understand.
Okay. No, so this is just a dir. So this will just give you the list of functions available. Okay. But if you do the help, it will show you the entire documentation. So I guess you are using help and dir both, right? So at the bottom, this is just a dir. Just go up. This is the entire. This is where you can find the description of.
So it's a print the help of
So for help, it's okay without it, but to print it directly, you need the
how to go to the help.
right?
How do I search? Let's say registered help of something or
So if you want a particular function, so you will say help built-in dot and that function. So this will show me what is this function is actually. Oh, where is it? range. So it will say stop, or you can specify the start, stop, this is optional. Oh, sorry, the step is optional, and it returns a range object for me. Returns object. Okay. So this is the entire documentation. Help help of range in so you have to specify that module name. So in this module that function is present.
For any like for string, you have to search for library.
Yeah, just help of STR.
Right. Then
Yeah,
this
just save and run. Control and control V. Not execution. Yeah. Okay, this program here. The program is clear, right? Yes, clear. Okay, so let's see two more methods that it might get. And so to get the value of this particular name, I was doing print d of name, right? It was giving me the values. Or
sorry to interrupt you. Why should we define D with the empty?
that
The Python is based on the values, right?
exactly.
You don't need pre-declaration.
So you at least so whenever you are referring, so whenever you are creating a dictionary inside of your loops, right? You're storing it somewhere, right? So you cannot start assigning digit.
But we don't do the other data types, right? It is,
We have to do. Yeah.
we have a-
So when you say print A, I cannot directly say print A,
we are defined for value.
right? So either so if I do this print A or print A something like this, it will throw me a name error.
Should we
Should
predefine?
we just define and initialize the name value? Okay. All right. Okay. So when I was doing this, it gives me the value. Okay. Now we want the inbuilt function for this. I have function d dot get, and you will specify the key. Okay, and this will return me the value. Okay, for that particular key. Okay, so either you can use d square bracket name or you can use the get method. Uh-huh. Okay, I'll show you the one to use this. Okay. So right. Okay. Right. This is the difference. So while printing this, if I specify the key which does not exist, it throws me a key error. This it returns me none. Right. Now you can provide a one value, saying here. Okay. So if I specify the key which exists, it will give me the value of it. But if key does not exist, it will return either none or the string which are specified in the second argument. Yeah. Now, another variation. d dot set default. Okay, returns me the value. For that, actually, I should not add it inside of this print statement. Right. So I'm doing d dot set default of age. Let me print my dictionary.
It will add dependent name here.
Okay. So in first method, when I say d of age, d of name, it will give me the value of it if my key exists. If my key does not exist, it will throw me an error. In get, it will check if key exists or not. If it does not exist, it will either return me none or the string I have specified. In set default, if I specify the key which exists, it will return me the value. If I specify the key which does not exist, it will add that particular key to your dictionary with the value none.
Set default is for funding the
Exactly. Okay.
like how much we are.
For existing key also we can change it.
No. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. So I'm saying age, right? I'm specifying a value as a. So if I do not specify the value, it will defaultly set a value none, right? If I say 30, it will if it will create that particular key and it will assign value 30. Okay. Now if I try this for the name, if my key exists, it will not do anything. It will just return you the value of it.
Okay. So it doesn't change the value.
Yep. Clear?
So it's basically to add a new key with the
With a
default
default
value
value or without default. Clear? So this is my set default. Next method, if I have two dictionaries, let me add my age here. Let's keep on duplicate value. Something is not closed properly. Email is closed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If I have to combine these two dictionaries, okay. So if it's a list, it is two lists. Which method I can use?
Join.
Extend. Extend, right? So I can use join to convert a string to a list. So extend is for list.
So we will not say.
Okay. Again, it will check for the uniqueness. Okay. So I'll not get repetitive value even if I combine it. Okay. Now if I specify different value here, obviously it will update with that value. Okay. Now one more important thing, you can see everything is getting added. It's showing in a particular order, right? So this is particular behavior is from Python 3.6. Okay. If you are using older version, you may see that order it will not be printed in particular order. This might you can observe. Okay. But from 3.6, my insertion is in order. Okay. Still see. Okay. All right. So set default, get default, and update methods we have seen. Right.
There's one more name in D2 which will not update.
No, it will just update the value with the one which reference.
It is value. Name, one more name there, and
So the value of this ABC will be changed with that updated value.
it will not add to
It will not add. There will be only one key with the same. Okay. Now let's come to the delete operations.
I will not write it down in this is
Yeah.
practical.
Okay. So I have a method called pop. Okay. So for this pop, we will pass a key which you want to delete, and it will remove that particular key from my dictionary, and it will return the value which is removed from the dictionary. If you see, it's returning me the value. Okay. So you will specify the key. It will remove that particular key and the value pair from your dictionary, and it will return with just the value.
Name value is going to be extruded name.
And the only value is stored. If you print A, you will just get ABC. ABC. You do not have a reference to this name now. Okay. Now I have another method that is my d.pop item. Now you do not have any control over this method. So my Python, I arbitrarily select one element and it will remove from your dictionary.
So it can be anything.
It can be anything. Okay. What I will just comment this out.
Any practical reason for doing this?
Mainly resource allocation if you want to free it. That can be the only
Memory.
that can be the only one use case. Apart from this,
Operator which you
so pop item will so Python will select one key and the value pair arbitrarily. Okay, it's completely based on Python logic how to remove it. Okay, you cannot specify any argument for this. Now return, if you see, it is returning me a tuple. It is returning me a key and the value pair. I'm just printed a single value here. Okay, if I do a of 0, a of 1. Okay, we can get two different variables. One is my contact number and this is my value.
here it is returning both key and value.
Both key and value will be returned as a form of a tuple.
You are printing dictionary and as well
If I just print A,
will you
it gives a tuple, right?
key value.
Now I'm just accessing my tuple using my indexes. Okay,
So you identify trouble
using this round bracket. Or either you can use your type function also. Okay, you can see this is written in the tuple. Yeah. So these are my add, update, modify, and the delete operation on my dictionary. Okay. Few more things about my dictionary. Let's say I have one list. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and okay. I want a dictionary considering this element as a key.
The whole list.
So this should be a key. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 should be my keys in my dictionary.
Keys of
Keys. Okay. I have a method. Say equals to keys. So it as name says, whatever you are passing will be considered as a keys. Okay. So whatever a list you are passing, or so this can be anything. So this can be a tuple also. Okay. So whatever you are passing will be considered as a key. Each element will be a key, and defaultly it will assign a value none. If you want a default value assigned to it,
Something from key sheet, let's say I have values.
no, from values. So anything you will see, it will be my keys only.
Let's say there's no
Uh-huh.
same.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you have another list, and you want to combine the key and the value. That is the next thing. Alright. Clear from keys. Let me take the same example. I'm storing 4, 9, 16, and 25. Okay. Now I have two lists. I want the dictionary out of it. Okay. So for that I can use my zip method. Okay. I have an inbuilt method called zip. Now earlier this method was a part of my iter tools library. Okay. It is mainly used for my effective looping. Okay. So for now we will see this use this to just to generate a dictionary from my tool list. But zip function can be more useful than this. I'll just give a brief intro about my zip function. So zip can combine any number of lists.
Sorry, I missed that one. What is the key? From keys of 1 to 10?
So this is my default value. So if I just say from keys of L, it will create keys from this and it will assign none, 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 none. Okay. If I just put 10, it will assign 10 to everything. Okay. Okay. Now, let's say I have 3 lists which contains any numbers. Right. If I do zip, so if I just do zip, it returns me a zip object actually, which you can iterate through, but which you can typecast also. So I'll do zip, then typecast it with a list. Please help me with brackets. 3 opening. Alright. Okay, let's print this. Okay. So number of arguments you can pass, that is unlimited. You can pass any number of values to this zip function. What this zip function will do, it will combine your elements based on the indexes. So all the elements at index 0, it will put it in a one tuple. all element at 2, 1 tuple, 3, 1 tuple, like this. Okay. Now, if there are any missing elements, okay, if I have more numbers in L1, number is not equal in L2 and in L3, it will simply ignore those numbers. So it will only work till there is a matching element in all the lists. Okay.
So why do we need to use the list here?
So this is to typecast. Okay, if I just print zip, this returns me a zip object actually. Okay, same as my range also. So this you can iterate through it. So if I do the same thing with my range also, if I need numbers from 1 to 11, if I do range, if I use print this will give me the range object. Okay, but when you use it inside a for loop, my Python will automatically iterate through this range, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
So just to see the result, I'm just typecasting it to the list so that the output will be converted to the list. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Now, in our case, I want a dictionary out of this. That is, I have a key and a value pair.
Key is L and value is L.
And exactly. So I just say D is equals to. I want ultimately a dictionary. So instead of list, this time I'll say dict. I'll say zip of L comma L2. Okay.
So it's the same thing. Like, if L has more elements, then it will.
It's a lot. Few more useful functions for my dictionaries. Let me just okay. I have these three methods: d dot keys, d dot values, and d dot items. If you see, so this keys method will give me only keys. One more thing, if you see the output, this is a list. Okay. So list of keys it will return. I have similar method for d dot values. This will give me list of all the values inside of my dictionary. And I have a d dot items method, which will give me ultimately a list of key and the value pair. But my each key and the value pair will be a tuple. Okay. So each item will contain two values.
But we will never like mix what is the key of that value.
What is the
But let me say, if I print this values, right?
exactly?
We will never know like what
Exactly,
key is
exactly.
belongs to that value.
So that is the important concept of dictionaries. You cannot get your keys back from your values.
Hmm.
Okay.
So maybe just figuring one is this.
Which one? Which one? This one.
Yeah, it's
Alright, alright. Exactly.
keys and values are in this way.
So I have a single value here. So keys will give me only keys of it, right? As a list. Okay. Values will give me only values as a list. Items will also give me key and the value as a list only. Okay, okay, as a list only. But my each key and value is a tuple. This is my tuple. But ultimately, a final output is my list only. Okay. Now, default behavior for my iteration, if I say D, I'm using generic name here. Okay.
Practical purpose can be only to know the static.
So, if I'm just do D, I'm iterating through this. What this is giving? This is giving me only, right? What if I need a value of it?
It's of
For x in d dot values.
D of X.
Okay. So you are getting a key here. You want a value for that. So you will say D of X. Okay.
You don't need to specify code.
No, because this is the exact key I'm getting, right? So in this case, you do not have to specify inputs. Okay. Let's say I have a dictionary which contains marks. Let's say computer science, marks are 75. Let's see whatever subject, let's say English, and marks are 35. Let's say chemistry, let's make it 25. I need something. Whatever, it's physics. I hated physics. But let me make myself a basket fine. Last one will add something. Tell me one subject.
Mathematics.
Oh, I was good at that. Let's add 70. Okay. So I have a dictionary with a subject and a marks. Okay. Let's say I have pass marks as 40. Okay. What I want, I iterate to this dictionary and print me the subject names. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. How about you, Madhumita?
Done.
Okay. So I'll just say so whenever iterating with the default key, I'm getting keys, right? I'll say if the key is less than 40 on my pass marks. This is the condition. I have to print a key for that. Okay. Now this is the one way, or you can use items. Now if you use d dot items, you will get two values here. One is key and the value. So in this case, you do not have to do this. You will just say value less than 40, print the key. This is a function. Okay. But so items will give me two values, right? Key and the value. So I'm accepting key and value. So just compare the value. I do not have to access the value using my keys in this case. I'm directly getting the value. Right? This is another way. But if you do something like this, then you are stuck. Okay? Because once you have the value, I cannot get a key from this. Right? Yeah.
So for the for condition, you can have two iterations. Right?
Mhm.
You can specify as many as.
Here, so depending on so the iterator, how many values it will return, you can assign that much values.
Before that, you wrote it as.
So I was written items, right? So if you see my d dot items returns me two values. I mean, my values are stored as a key and the value panel, right? So that two values I can accept, key and the value. Okay. Yeah.
Uh, so the thing is, so can you just show me how does the data items look like? Just the data items.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So this will give me these two values. I mean, it's a list of the tuples, key and the
Yeah.
value. So in each
So
iteration, I'll get this much path. This thing in first iteration, in a second element, in the second iteration, third iteration is this. So I am accepting these values in a 2. Or I can do something like this. I'll just say x. I'm accepting entire thing in a x. Okay. Now if I print your x here, I'll get a tuple. Okay. I'll get a tuple. If you want to do the same program with a single value, I'm saying x is the only value I'll accept from my d.items method. I have to check a value. Value will be my always x of y. And here I'll print x of y. I'll get the same thing. Prasanna, clear?
yeah, I got it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay.
But it would tuples not ordered, right?
The dictionary is not ordered. Okay. So this is my Python dictionaries. Um, so next data type we have, that is my set. Okay. So when was the last time you guys studied the set operations? If anyone is working on a databases, then he might be familiar again because. But apart from that, then that is with the, I guess, 12th standard. Okay. So anyone knows union intersection difference? Prasanna, Madhumita?
Yeah, I'm a database administrator actually.
Oh, yeah. All right. All right. Okay. So before going to the Python set and all, we just cover the basics quickly. Okay. Let's say I have just two sets. Okay.
Depending with this bracket.
This is just maths. This is just plain maths now. Okay. Don't consider it Python. If I say X union Y, okay, this will give me all elements in my X and all elements in my Y, but I'll get only the unique elements. So my answer will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70. Okay. So I have a repetition of 30, 40, 50 that will be added only once. Okay. This is my union operation. My intersection. If I want the common elements between two sets, I use my intersection. So this will give me 30, 40. Okay. That is the common elements between both sets. If I say X difference Y, I say X difference Y, it will give me all elements in my A which are not in my, all elements in my X which are not in my Y. So my answer will be 10, 20, that's it. So my 30, 40, 50, if you see, are present in my Y, right? So I'll not get that as a result in my X difference Y. If I do Y difference X, so I get 60, 70. So all elements in Y which are not in X. Okay. Now if you perform the same union operation on Y union X, I get the same result. Same is the case for my intersection because it's giving me the common elements on my board. So for intersection, if I do Y intersection X also, I get the same result, right? Now I have X difference, X symmetric difference Y. This will give me all elements in my X and the Y except the common elements. Okay. This will give me elements in X and Y, but my common elements will not be there. So all the elements except my intersection. Okay. Lastly, more things. I have a Z seed with context and then 20. If all elements are present in this set for my X, then I can say Z is subset of X. Have I said it reverse? Yeah. Have I? No. Z is a subset of X. Okay. As all elements of my Z are present in my X. Right. On the other hand, I can say X is a superset of. Okay. Now, coming back to my set in my Python. So, how to define a set? Again, it will be in my curly brackets. It will contain multiple values. Now, how internally Python implements set is this is a dictionary with none values, and the elements are considered as a keys. Okay, so these are the keys for my dictionary, and for which my value is none. Okay, this is how it stores internally in my Python. Okay, so that's why as my keys are unique, right? That's why my all elements okay. So I cannot store mutable elements inside of my set. Okay. Then
Element when you say it's a key value.
yeah. Okay. I can have only unique elements. Again, my sets are mutable, which means I will have methods to add, delete, and
Value should be, so basically value should be immutable.
so elements will be my keys default.
Because dictionary what we have seen is like
Key and value. You do not have a key and a value pair here. No. You will just keep on adding elements same as my list, same as my tuple. But internally it's a key value pair. That we do not have to worry now.
internally like one first is a key and
And
second is a value.
values. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So again, same as my dictionary, my my set is mutable, but my element should be immutable. Okay, it should be unique. Alright. So, and again, my sets are unordered. Okay, as it's unordered, which means I will have no indexing, no slicing. Yeah. Okay. Now, the best example, if I just print it, you can see this is unordered. Okay, the CV output, so this will not be in order. Okay, one thing.
If we have two times not.
Exactly. So it will only have unique values.
The first
That's it. Okay, no indexing, no slicing. Okay, it will have only unique values, right? Actually, mainly used for conversions. So it can be used with your list where you want a unique data. Instead of writing the loops, you can use it mainly for this conversion purpose. Okay. As I said, it's a mutable, which means I'll have method. Yeah. Prasanna, you were saying something?
No, sorry.
Alright. So I have methods to add, update, and modify. Right? I'll say x dot add. Okay. Now, one thing, if you're storing immutable data types, which means you cannot update the value, right? Make sense?
But so this is a set of elements which defines only values in it, key value.
It's just values. We will be dealing with only values.
And this is a set which has only values.
Only values. Okay. So just don't get confused with the internal implementation. Okay. So this is a set. I will just specify it in curly brackets. I will keep on specifying the values. Okay, and that value should be keep it simple. Okay.
So when you say values are immutable, how do we relate to indexing etc.?
No indexing, no slicing. Alright. So the thing I told that internally it's stored as keys, forget it. Forget it. Okay. So it's the same as your list and the same as your tuple, in which you keep on adding the values. Okay. Okay. Internally, how it does, I have told you once. Okay. You'll remember it. Okay, but just don't get confused with it. Okay. Alright. So this is my unordered set. How to add an element? I'll say x dot add. It will add a single element. Okay. Alright. So we will see all these operations which we just give a moment.
So basically, it's just to define do operations of intersection.
Intersection, yeah. Related to the operations. No, you need not.
We don't have any
You don't have
languages.
any methods. So you'll be writing the logic using for loop to do this. You can see that example. Okay, I have two sets. I have inbuilt methods. I'll just say x dot union y. Alright. Again, this will be unordered, but I will have only unique elements. So it will give me elements from x and y, and the repeating elements will not be there. I have intersection, which will give me the common elements. Right. I have a difference, which will give me only elements in first set. So if I do the reverse of it, okay, I want a symmetric difference. So this will give me all elements in x and y except the repeating elements. Okay. Now the functions which we have seen, these are returning me the values, right? And we are not actually modifying the original set. Okay. So if you want to actually update the original set with the values, so I have this x and y, right? Let's say you want to perform union operation. So if you see union is same as combining two sets, right? So for that I have operation. I'm saying x dot update, which is same in my dictionary also. Now if you see, this will modify the original x statement. If you see initially my x contained this much values, 3, 4, 5 values. I used my update operators, that is x dot update functions. Okay, this will update me the original set. Okay, it will not return me anything, but it will modify the existing sets as my sets are mutable. Okay, so earlier it was containing this, now my sets are containing this one. Okay,
But you can't delete the values that is there.
now we can see this. Okay, this is my update operation. Okay, now same variation is available for my OR function. Now let's say in this I have this function which contains union values, right? Let me comment this. I'm saying x dot intersection underscore update of y. Okay, you will see initially my x containing 5 values. I'm using function intersection update. What this will do, it will perform the x intersection y, and whatever be the result, it will store it back to your x.
The sets are elements
Immutable, exactly.
immutable is and this can't be deleted.
So it cannot be modified.
It cannot be
Modified. So my best example of my immutable data type is say a is equals to 100. I'm storing like this. Okay. Now I cannot add, and it will there will be, let's say it will be at particular memory location, right? So it will be 1000. Okay. At the same memory location, I cannot make it as a 101. It will always remain 100 and it will remain 100. When I say A is equals to 101, if you check the memory, it will create a different memory file. Okay. I cannot change. But on the other hand, if I define a list which contains, okay, now it will, let's say, have ID 1001. Okay, using my append or my extend method, I can do this, and this thing will be at the same memory location. Okay, so same thing is with my intersection and up. Okay. So this is actually modifying my original set. So this is performing the actually the update operation on my set. So it will calculate x intersection y. Whatever be the result, it will store it back to my x. Okay.
There is no provision for addition, so there is no question of
Mm.
availability. No memory location is not different. You can't access the memory.
Yeah. Huh?
You can't access each element.
Each cannot, yeah, I cannot.
There's no question of
Exactly.
changing the value. No memory location will be different.
Yeah, yeah. So I can get the memory location of entire x, right? So let's try this. And ID of x, right? Now I'm using my intersection update operator, which will modify at the same set, right? So my this ID and this ID ideally should be same. Is it? Yes. Okay.
Because set as a whole is
As a whole is
but the elements
are
and when I say unordered, right, I mean it will change as the if you print for multiple times. So
no. So the way of storing it will be different. Yeah, that will be fixed.
Same
So
code.
that will be fixed.
If you print it multiple.
Yeah. Because what it happens is internet storing in my hash tables, right? Hash tables are nothing but my arrays, okay? But the indexes for these hash tables will be calculated in a different way. So my hash table only store my keys, K2, right? And it will have a particular range of values. But for this particular range of values, it will be related to this particular key. This will be this, okay? Now, the way it stores this algorithm of keys is something completely depends on a hash function, okay? So whatever key you will create, Python will pass it to this hash function, and this hash function will return one particular index. And at that particular index, this key will be stored in your hash table. Okay. Now it depends. Sometimes whenever you are adding element, if it gets in a consecutive element location, you will get in that two elements in a particular order. But third element, let's say, is key gets stored at this particular location, and then it's stored key 5 here, and then key 6 here. So it changes the order of it. Okay.
We run for over access.
Yeah. But if you print it also, it will be completely unknown at that time. Okay. So this is my intersection update. Same I have difference update. X dot difference of y. So, what this will do, it will calculate x minus y, that is x difference y, store it back to the x. Okay.
So when you do consecutive operations, it will take the latest one, right?
Yeah.
You say we do intersection and then we will have.
Yeah. Let's try that one too. Sorry. Okay, so I have update difference update. Let's move. So let's my add an update function. So this can be used as my add an. Let's see delete operations. Okay. So for deleting, I have two functions. One is my discard and one is my pop. Okay. Now this pop is same as my pop item function. It will remove any arbitrary element from your set which you cannot control. And discard, you will specify the element which you want to remove and it will remove the element. I do not have anything based on my index or key or one, right? With my dictionary. So I have this. Let's say okay. So it will remove 30 from the list. Now if I specify the element which does not exist, it will just do nothing. Okay, it will just simply ignore it. I guess I have a remove also. Now if I do extort remove of 30,
You can't add one more element to the list. That is it.
so that will be my update operation. Using that, you can update multiple values.
And this set will not have the list.
No, because it's mutable data type, I cannot have.
It is mutable. Like I can have a list.
My element should be immutable, right?
Element is mutable, but you can have you can extend the list with right?
So this is something not allowed. Okay.
No, it is confusing.
Okay. So my set as a whole
Is immutable.
is mutable.
So yeah.
Okay. But my elements should be immutable.
Correct. So since your set is immutable,
Since the
sorry,
set is
set is
mutable.
mutable, you can add any number of lists right in that. Because list is one more element.
But my elements should be immutable. I can add list. Fine. That is one thing. If I say it's a mutable data type, which means it should allow me to add. Right?
Okay.
But my elements should be immutable. So I can add only integer, strings, or a tuple.
Okay. So which are not
Yeah.
mutable.
So, what exactly you mean when you say elements should be immutable?
So exactly it means if I say my element should be immutable, which means I can only add my strings, my integers, my tuples. So these are my immutable data types, right? So I can only add elements of data types which are immutable. So this can be anything of string, integer, or a tuple. But if I try to add my list or a set within a set or a dictionary within a set, which are my example of mutable data type, which is not allowed. Clear, everyone? Okay. Prasanna, clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Alright. So same as my discard, I have a method called remove. What this will do, it will what happened? Okay. So this is the error you will get. Okay. Finally. And then she will type plus. Okay. So this will remove the element. Now the difference between my discard and remove is okay. So discard will check for this element which does not exist. If it does not exist, it will just do nothing. It will not throw any error. But remove on the other hand, it will throw me the key error. Okay. And the last function is yeah. Now the last method is x dot pop. I do not have any control over it. It will just pop me any elements and it will return it to me. But it will give me a pop. It's a pop. Okay. This time it removed 40 for me. If I say something like this, pop x no. Okay. No, this is so it will automatically, so it will select its one element by itself. You cannot specify. It's same as my pop items in my dictionary. It's pop. Okay.
Assigning the value goes,
So
the value goes to a variable.
Exactly.
The key is
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's come back to the same problem. I have two lists. Something like this. Okay. I want a single unique and sorted list. Try this using a set. Okay. And then we will discuss the list version also. Okay. So we have seen that type conversion function, that is, if I with the zip function I was using this bit, right? Whatever it was inside of it, it was converting to a dictionary, right? If I want to convert to a list, I use list. Same if I have to convert to a set, I use set. If I say set of A, L, this will convert your set or convert your list to a.
Should be union, right?
Can be union window.
Kunal, is there a type check when you do this?
No, no, no.
So does it throw an exception when something is not compatible when you're doing the typecasting?
Yeah, yeah. So if you are trying to convert incompatible types, it will. So same as if I try to convert a dictionary into a list, it will throw you an error.
So there is no equivalent of instance of here?
No, no. So we cannot check type before getting the exception. So exception handling is the only way to handle it.
Can you do it with type?
Type, you can check the type and you can write if else condition with that. So if you want to check type, so you will say type of L equals equals. If you want to check if this is list, this will work.
Okay.
You can't convert everything into list and dictionary.
Mm.
So there should be set of unique list, right?
Get a list only. Final output should be list.
Union.
So it's union only, not union.
So we cannot use union for list.
Linear for list. No. So use union or just a type casting. Which one?
Union. No, it's like first you have to extend it, is it?
So there are multiple ways of doing it. Okay?
Since I'm trying to extend it, L1 is extended to L2. Then you can sort it.
Exactly. So I'll say L1 dot
Sort it.
extend first L2. It will modify my original L1 with combination of it. Right. Now I'll get the updated list. Right. I'll say S is equals to set of L1. Right. Now this will defaultly remove the duplicate elements for me. Getting? That is the main purpose, right? So if I say a set, I'll only have the unique elements, right? And
So you can sort the list as well, right?
Yeah, we can.
So directly we can sort the list.
So if I sort it here also, the problem I tell you, if I say L1 dot sort, I'll get a sorted list, right? Now one thing remains, that will be removing the duplicate elements. Getting right? So if I extend it, I'll get combination of it, but I'll have a duplicate elements. I can sort it, I'll get a duplicate element, right? Either I have to write a logic to remove the duplicate elements, or I can just use the set. But the problem with set is it will be again, it will make it a unordered, right? So that's why I keep my setup as if for last. I say L2 is my new list. Convert this set to list again. And now for this I'll do L2 dot.
We get a sorted, get it non-duplicate.
Yeah. Or you can do, you will see S1 is equals to set of L1. You will see S2 is equals to set of L2. You will say S1 dot update S2. Now this will give me the unique values are set with a unique value. You can say L is equals to list of S1, and here I can say S2. So
So what is the difference here between update and extend?
So update method is for my dictionaries and my sets. So extend method is for my list. Purpose is same for both. Yeah.
Initially you get a set of L1, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to sort the data.
Ultimately, I have to sort it in the end to get the sorted list. Right. So just to remove the unique elements. So earlier I just performed a typecasting operation to get rid of my remove elements. Here I just use my update operation to get the duplicate elements out of it. Okay. So there's no need to write a for loop, no need of extra list to. Okay. Guys, will take just a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue. Okay. Yeah. So this is about all the data structures. Okay. So far we have covered, we started with strings, and we went to list, tuple, dictionary, and set we have covered, right? So So my entire Python will revolve around all these things only. Ultimately, my data will be this much, and I'll be needing these methods, right? So it's okay if you forget some methods. You can always go back, just like help, and get the help out of from there. Okay. Concept, please make sure that you understand what is mutable, which is immutable, and which are, I mean, what I can do with this data type. Okay. Method names, it's okay if you forget it, you can get it easily. Right?
Do you need documentation as such? I mean,
Not as of now, we're working on it. But soon.
no, is it like if you know any of the open sources there?
Because actually we are preparing our own Jupyter notebooks for this. So the entire method and everything.
Okay.
Hopefully it will be ready soon. We can share. So it will have all the function names, how to access it.
And how extensively we have to prepare for these data types? Like what I'm trying to understand is further for further programming, right? So how extensive these data types are used? Like
So that's what I said. The methods is not important that you should remember the exact methods for all everything, but the concept understanding of all concept is really important. Because going forward in data science and also you will just get the data, which will have different formats. So you will be just doing the applying different methods on that particular data. So concept of this data type should be clear.
clear?
Yeah. Okay. Now let's start with complete fresh topic. So far we have seen our inbuilt functions only. That directly using the inbuilt function, giving the call, passing the values to it, right? So how to write our own inbuilt user-defined inbuilt functions in Python. Okay. So let's start with a very simple one. So I'm creating a function called print val. So I'll say function diff. Okay. So when I say functions, I have two things, right? One, my function definition. Second, my function call, right? My function definition will be the actual code for my functions, and my function call will be a call to my function to execute a particular function definition. So my functions will help me to improve my readability of my code. That I can break down my code into multiple functions so that it can provide me some sort of abstraction that I'll just pass the values and I can expect the input. I do not have to dig into what is the logic once it is defined, right? Or the another important use case that if I have to work on something which I'm calling again and again, so instead of writing same statements again, I'll be putting into a function, right? So how my function call will look like? So you will write the user-defined function name, and you will specify this parenthesis. Inside of this, you can pass the arguments, right? And in order to define a function definition, I have a keyword called def. After that, you will write the exact function name, parenthesis. Now your arguments, we will see how to pass in arguments and everything, and the statement inside of the function. Again, this will be a block of statement, so it should be indented. Okay. So how my Python will understand what is inside of my function. So all the statements which are at this indentation level will be inside of my function. If something starts from here, which means it's outside of my function scope. Okay. As my Python,
if condition inside the function, right?
yeah.
So it will change the condition.
So it will be inside of it only, right?
Okay.
It will be not left side of this, right? So it will start from here. Right? Important thing, my function call should be after the function definition.
So you don't have any header file here.
Exactly, exactly. So like see, I am not specifying the function name. Okay, so I'm not specifying something like this, and I'm providing implementation. Okay. Okay. On the other hand, as my C is my compiled languages, my compiler has the entire code, right? But in the interpreter, when it comes here, it will try to execute this function, but you are defining function from line number 6. Now my Python interpreter do not know any line after this file, right? So it will throw you an error. So it should be.
And same in C also.
Yeah, but you have that provision.
You don't
to
have header
provide.
file.
Yeah, then that
Then you have to
yeah,
definitely
same,
should be
same.
above the.
Okay. This is how I can write a function name and the function. Okay. Now how to pass values. Okay. We can pass values in the parenthesis with a comma separated if you are passing multiple values. Let's say I'm passing 3 values here. I'll specify the 3 values and I'll separate them with a comma. Okay. Now if I'm passing the 3 values, my function definition also should accept the 3 values. Right? This I can accept in any 3 variables. Okay. This is my simple positional argument parameter passing technique. Okay. So first, how I can pass it in positional arguments. So in my positional arguments, my sequence matters, right? The order in which I am passing the values, in the same order it will be passed to my functions. So this will be the direct mapping. So X will have value of 10, Y will get value of 20, and Z will get value of 30, right?
Here data type is not.
Yeah, data type is not required. Okay. Now my number of parameters should be same. If I'm passing 2 values and my function definition I have 3 values, it will throw me an error saying missing 1 required positional argument. Right? Now, if you want to return a result of your function, same as my C, I have a function called return. Right? And it will return some values to me. Again, I'm saying return x, y, z. Now you have to accept this value also into something, right? Otherwise, so this is printing here. It is, I'll not get anything. Okay. Now, if I access it here, either I can access it inside a tuple, right? So this is the beauty of my Python. I'm returning these values, right?
No, there's not.
Okay.
So T we haven't defined as empty, right? T is for tuple, is it?
So this is my return statement, right?
But you are what is it?
So this is any variable
Storing
which can
value.
store, yeah. Now this is storing a tuple. So whenever I am returning multiple values, I get a tuple.
So whenever you say T is a tuple, is it?
No, I'm just using anyway.
But how does it take it as a tuple?
So this is the default way. If I'm passing multiple values, defaultly it will consider a tuple.
Why can't I mean,
It's immutable. That's why I said, right? So internally, Python uses tuples at many places. This is one of the use cases.
it can be anything like strings also?
So if you want explicitly, if you want to pass a list or something, you can do it, right? You have that option.
Okay. If you have only one
Value, it will be integer. It will not be a tuple. If I'm saying return x, it will not be a tuple.
if it is returning an integer, it will print it as integer.
Yeah.
The string, then it will take a
String. Yeah, but if you're passing a multiple values, then that will be added as a tuple and passed to the return.
So multiple values can be like integer plus a list, right?
Anything.
So that will be tuple of
A tuple of plus list.
So later we have to convert that.
Yeah, we have to list. Okay, so this is how I can pass the arguments in the brackets, and I can get a result back using my return statement, right? Now let's write a simple function. I'll specify the start point and the end point. Okay, this function should create that particular range and should return me the sum. Okay, so let's say I need a sum. So my first call will be I want sum from 5 to 50. Next call I'll say I want sum from 6 to 90. Okay, so this you will pass the values and it should return me the sum of this. Yeah. Okay. I will do it. That's right here. So let me call my method as add. So I'll pass the start point and the end point, right? This is my first, and this will return me the result. Okay. Next function call, I'm saying I want sum from 9 to 90. How to write a function definition for this? Diff of add. Okay. It takes two values. Let's take start point and the end point. Okay. Okay, so I'll say for value in range. This range is changing every time, right? So I'm passing this as this. I'll create one variable sum is equals to 0. Let's say sum is equals to sum plus value. Now once this is done, return me the sum. Yeah, this is 5 to 49. Yeah, this is the range. If I want to exact, I'll just say plus 1. Okay. So this is my simple function to add any values, right? Using positional argument. So here my sequence matters, number of argument matters, right? Now let's take an example of range function. So which are the three variations I have? So if I just say range of something, it considers it as a endpoint, right? If I say range 1, 5, it gets as a start and an end point, right? In the similar way, what I want is if my user do not specify, if my user specifies only single value, okay, then start from 0 and go to that endpoint which is specified. Okay, so my same function should work for result is equals to add. If I set 20, okay, it should do the addition of 0 to 20 for me, right? Now, if I'm passing as a positional argument, this will throw me an error, right? It will expect that my number of arguments should be 2, right? Obviously, it will say one missing argument. So, how to do this? Okay, so this can be done using my second method, that is my default argument. Okay, so if you want that, if the user passes the second value, okay, it should be assigned a first value as a 0.
So definition you change it to 0.
Exactly. But in positional arguments, I guess this thing will matter. Let's run this. Okay. But I still think it will take as what is that? Okay. So if I just specify the one value, then specify this will work. But logically, this is not correct for me. Right? So I have a rule. Let me explain the concept first, and then we'll talk about this. Right, I have this function. Quickly write this. Print val x comma y comma. Right. I haven't this variable defined. Let me take it as 10, 20, 30. Right. Okay. If I print this, this will print me the 3 values. Okay. Now, if I want this to work, that is, I'll pass these 2 values. Defaultly, it should take the third value as a 0. Okay. I have a default arguments. So I can set this as a 0. So what this will make, it will consider this set as a 0. But if you pass a third value to your function, your default value will not be considered. The value which you are passing will be considered. Okay. But the rule is you cannot specify the default argument first and then the uh, uh, default arguments. Okay. So first it should be default positional arguments and then the default.
Last argument should be the default.
The default. Okay. Either you can make everything as a default. Okay, or you can do something like this. Okay, but if you do something this is not allowed. Okay, the sequence matters. Okay, but if I do all as 0, this is wrong. Okay. So even if now I give a call using the function print val this, it will work. Okay, so it will consider default value for 3. If I do this, I need to pass at least one value. I was trying to extend the same concept here. Let's see if I can do this. So while passing, I'll be doing this thing. and SP.
I think endpoint start point should be 0. Start point should be 0.
Yeah, but in that case,
We have to change the argument.
this will throw me an error,
Correct.
right? But if I change the EP here, but while passing my ideal way should be I should pass a start value and the end value, right? Right? That can be done using my keyword arguments. That is one way. Okay. So let's see the next method. That is my keyword arguments. Okay. So I'll say string is equals to this. EP is equals to this. Okay. So this is the way you can explicitly say what variables you want to say. Okay. So in this case, my order will not be important. Okay. So even if I change the order, it will take the reference using my keywords which I'm specifying. Okay.
We can specify EP as well.
Yeah, that is also perfectly fine. Okay. Now let's try to do what we here. I'll say 0. While passing, I'll say EP is equal to 20. Okay. But again, it will say that this is how about this? This is working. Even without that, also we can do it. If I something like this, let's do like this. We can keep both arguments as a 0, 0. That way,
I think inside the function we can insert display 0.
yeah. Oh yeah, that is one way.
Before forward. Okay. No. When you enter the function.
Yeah, that is one way. That is one way. Or I can try this one also. Right? But in that case, this will consider as a first argument, right? That is the problem.
So then we can make it as EP equal to 20.
Mm-hmm.
This we can make EP equal to
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Using keyword argument, I can do it for sure, right? But I was trying to do it with positional only.
Even keyword argument.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Add X equal to E.
Yeah. So I have specified. So I have these keywords, right? SP and then EP, right? I'll specify the keywords here. I'll say consider this as an EP, and I'm not passing the SP.
If you don't do it, then SP will be considered 20, right?
Yeah. That is the. Okay. No, this will work. So for keyword it will work.
Without keyword, it will not.
Yeah. Clear concept here, but here my keyword should be C. Okay. So this should exist. So I cannot say E. So it will say got an unexpected keyword argument as a E. Okay. So your keyword should be one of these SP or a EP if you're using it. Okay. Yeah. Is it okay to continue or should we stop here?
Is it like done or do
No, we have a lot of things to discuss for functions actually. So it's like one set till keyword arguments, and next is enter different.
then we'll go to
Yeah.
we'll do 2 marks or yeah.
Prasanna, Madhumita, what say? Should we stop here or should we continue?
Yeah, because we've already crossed 5 and I had other plans.
Okay then. Okay, then we'll continue tomorrow. Okay. Now, Prasanna, is it fine?
Sure, thanks.
Kunal?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Prasanna.
Yeah, so would I be getting this recording to
Recording, yeah, perfect. Yeah, I'll mail you this recording. As it's actually a 2-hour session, it takes some time to render it, but I'll mail it by today night. Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.